Good Time Gal.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Good Time Gal. I am your host, Peluffo. I don't talk like that. I don't know why I started, but here we are. Welcome. What a day. Welcome. I'm going to do this again. Fuck me. Cut this out. All right, future Caitlin, cut it out. Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Good Time Gal. I'm your host, Caitlin Peluffo. We did it. We made it to another week, and boy, oh boy, this one's fun. It's great. We got Maddy Smith, a good buddy of mine, fellow comic. She is hilarious. You've seen her on Wildin' Out. She also has a great podcast called Flat Bottom Girls. I have been on that podcast, even though I do not have a flat bottom. Some would say it is quite rotund, and I'm living with it. Appreciate it. But, yeah, this episode was so fun. Maddy's great. We're in her kitchen in Queens, which is always a delight. And it was really, really fun. You can follow her online at Maddy Smith on Instagram and Twitter. And follow her podcast, of course. And please follow my podcast at Good Time Gal, at Good Time Gal Pod. Jesus Christ. This is my third podcast today. I have really, the mind's a-going. I'll have to cut that out, too. Who knows? You know what? Just leave it in. We're going to leave it all in. How about that? Life's a nightmare and then you die. Anyway, rate, review, subscribe to my podcast, Good Time Gal Pod, and tell a friend. Reviews are the best, I will say. They are the best things you can do for a podcast you like. So please leave a review. Give it 5 stars. I need the validation. And on November 12th, it's a Thursday, we're going to be doing a Good Time Gal Comedy Hour on Zoom. So it's through the Bonfire Network. It's going to be really fun. $5 tickets and all your favorite comics from past episodes. We're just going to do a little bit of time. If we get a lot of people, maybe we'll make it a regular thing. Who knows? But it should be fun. And it's something you can do inside so you can just put your head in the sand and not think about the election. Doesn't that sound nice? Let's do that. So, November 12th, 9 o'clock, Zoom, whatever computer you got handy. And Good Time Gal Comedy Hour. It's going to be a fun time. I'll be hosting. I'll be, existing in there in some capacity. This was a mess. But in honor of keeping things in, I'm keeping it in. Who cares? Join us for that night. It's going to be fun. And listen to this episode. Tell your friends. And enjoy Maddy Smith. She's wonderful. Kayla Peluffo, signing off.
Yeah, and then you're good.
And now we're recording. Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh, my sweet boy.
I know.
Huh?
All the guys, they got at this equipment. They always know what to do. What's up with
Thank
that?
God, because I was in trouble. I can't believe. Anyway, hi, Maddy Smith.
Hi, Caitlin.
How you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. Thanks for coming to my home. Hopefully it wasn't too much of an effort to get here.
What a beautiful home. You have
Thank
a
you.
McDonald's right around the corner.
I know. Every day I'm like, should I just do that for lunch?
I would. All the time. I mean, whenever I'm hungover, that's the first place I want to go.
Well, speaking of hangovers, I was blackout Thursday at your place, and the next day I had a Big Mac for lunch.
Good for
and
you.
It was so good. Oh. And I got at 1 p.m. that lunch hour heat.
Oh, yeah.
It was nice and warm.
Oh, that's good. I'm
So
happy
good.
for you.
McDonald's tastes better when you only have to walk a block to get it.
Yeah.
It's like, this is awesome.
Honestly, if I'm that hungover, I would just Uber Eats it.
Oh, yeah.
Just be
From
like,
the
from right there.
Yeah.
Be like, something's got to give.
Oh.
Or TaskRabbit, something.
TaskRabbit. Can you bring me McDonald's and put together my IKEA furniture?
Yeah, all in one.
I need it done.
Yeah. Yeah, Thursday, birthday girl. Very
Crushed
fun.
It. Very fun. I am 28. Don't tell anyone. I did turn 29, but I'm telling people I'm 28 for a year.
I've been 30 for 3 years.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I hear you.
Yeah.
That's exciting. You came over to our backyard. We had a little bonfire.
A little bonfire, a couple Miller Lights.
A couple? Is that what you're saying?
2 to 10. 2 to 10. I don't remember after 2. We had
then
milk
my wine and then
and the wine and also a Milk Bar cake.
Oh, yes.
And all of that combined
Very good.
puts you over the edge.
Yeah. Well, you were You were a delight.
Yes.
Just a fun little princess
Yeah.
running around. Oh, you were having a good time.
Jordan said I did not want to leave. And
No, you were having a good time, but you were still very understandable. You went to the bathroom and you sang the whole time.
Oh, wow.
It was lovely. You left all of your shit at my place.
I did. I woke up the next day. I was like, my jacket's gone, and my credit card and my license are in there. So
Oh,
great
no.
start to the new year.
Oh, no.
Oh, it's totally fine. You don't need those when you go see family. You don't need a credit card, because I left for the weekend, and I was like, well, I don't need money to hang out with my family.
Well, that's true.
Because I pay
But
for everything.
you might need the driver's license to get into bars and such.
I did, but it was the year I had to get a new one, so I got that renewed one, that PDF of the new one, so totally fine,
Works.
and no one cards me anymore.
Oh, please.
That's
You
how
look
you know.
so young.
That's how you know you're older, is you lose your license, and you're like, it does not matter.
Yeah.
No one has carded me in years.
Yeah.
And also during the pandemic, no one cares to know.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, take your alcohol.
Yeah. You've
We
earned
get-
it.
yeah.
Also, I'm tired. I'm trying
I'm
to keep
tired
a
too.
small business
Yes.
afloat.
Totally.
Take the wine.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, this must be killer time for underage drinking. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It
And
must
overage.
be thriving.
Yeah.
Well, overage is just now binge drinking.
Over it, yeah.
Yeah, it's a great time for Alcoholics Anonymous.
Oh,
I feel like.
definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, they've got some new members.
Yeah.
Hopefully two new ones
Two.
after Thursday.
After
I got to tell you, your birthday happened. I was very cooled and
Mhm.
controlled,
Mhm.
had a good time. Then
Totally.
everybody left. And then I was
Oh.
like, I'm going to have a Negroni with
What?
just me and Steve. And then I had a hit of weed and I blacked out.
Oh my gosh. The post after party.
The after party.
VIP party, blacking out.
Legit just sitting there
Yeah.
watching fail videos.
Oh my gosh.
Me and the roommates. And I just.
Was Steve there too?
Oh, yes.
Was he
sweet
laughing
boy.
at you?
I mean, he had no clue. I'm very
Right.
much even keel. I
Yeah.
black out and no one knows.
Yeah.
It's a secret.
When I black out, everyone knows, but they don't know how drunk I am. It's because it's just Maddy on like another level.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it was more in college, guys who were in denial about how blackout I was.
Oh, I
'cause
see.
we would have
Oh, yeah.
and they'd be like, I didn't know.
Yeah.
You fucking, you knew, bitch.
I remember one time it was my boyfriend. I blacked out. We had sex. And the next day, I told him that I didn't remember. I was like, oh, did we have sex? He goes, yeah. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, okay. And he was like, what?
Yeah.
You don't remember?
Oh
And he
my
was like,
gosh.
he had the appropriate response.
Right.
And I was like, yeah, it's not
Yeah.
a big deal. I mean, I know you're
Totally.
not going to hurt me. You're my boyfriend.
Right. Or
But he was like, you didn't know?
Oh my gosh.
And then he dwelled on it for like a week. And I was like, can we move past
I
this
know.
sexual assault, please?
they always, come on, been there, done that. It's just another weekend for me.
Well, I feel like, obviously, having sex with someone blackout is
Yeah.
very bad. Don't do it. But the kind of blackout that I am, you have no clue. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'll just be like, so tell me about your mom.
Totally.
What are you up
Yes.
to?
Which brings you to, why do we even black out?
Yeah. Yeah, why do we need to
When
do
that's
that?
all that happens, you're just super chatty at a dinner party,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then you feel like shit the next day.
I become the belle of the ball.
Right.
That's it.
I compliment I'm giving
Mhm.
I'm like, girls, let's hang out tomorrow.
Yeah.
Wait,
You were
and
very nice.
I'm in a group chat with 20 people. I'm like, who are you people? Oh my God, the worst thing that happened this is me, ultimate blackout. Maybe I shouldn't share this on the pod. Well, I had a show last night, and I told Mike Rowland where the show was, and he said, wait, I thought we agreed not to fill in avails for them this week. Because I said during the blackout,
Oh, I see.
we're not doing that.
And then you were like, I know exactly what club you're talking about. And I get it. But also you're like, I wasn't there for that conversation.
Yeah, you're like, wow, I totally would have done. And I'm filling out my avails. I'm like, back to work, and I got every other comic out of their system.
Yeah.
Yes, if you feel the need to cut that part out. But
Oh, no. It's
What
fine. I
fucking-
mean,
yeah.
but also.
But that's an example
get
of
it.
my blackoutiness, being like, let's do it, guys. And then
Yeah.
the next day being like, wait, what?
You're starting a movement.
Yeah.
Blackout.
Total movement. And then I just forget to be involved.
Comics should start a union. That's what we need to do.
We need a union.
And then we form
Right.
one. We're all, Maddie's going to
And then
take
I'm the
charge.
one who gets all the spots.
Yeah. Just sabotaging everyone.
Exactly. I'm like, you know what you need to do? Post on Twitter about what's happening.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah. Whatever.
So you're from Rochester, yeah?
Well, I'm from Buffalo, which
Sweet,
is
sweet
same
Buffalo.
thing.
Yeah.
Same thing. And but now my parents live in Rochester, so when I
Mhm.
go home, I go to Rochester.
Oh, okay.
It's the same city, but without an NFL team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rochester. I've done a few shows there. Very
Mhm.
nice, lovely place.
Nice drunk. Buffalo too. Nice drunk people.
Nice drunk people.
Yeah.
Very down to laugh.
Really down.
Yes.
Really nice. I was almost gonna say normal. They're not normal.
No.
But it's cold, so they drink a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was the last time I was in Buffalo, I was opening for Ryan Niemiller,
Mm-hmm.
and there was a playoff game happening, and they
Mhm.
had it on the big screen,
Mhm.
and it was like the last 10 minutes of the game,
While
and
you
it
were on
kept going
stage?
right before the show started.
Oh.
And so the show ended up starting at I think like 45
Oh,
minutes
wow.
late, and the Bills lost.
Oh yeah.
And they lose, and then they just bring up
Yeah.
the screen, and here's your
Oh my
host.
gosh.
I felt so bad for that host.
I think I know what game that was too.
the most recent whatever
yeah,
playoff run.
and it was they were like up by 14 in the first
Mhm.
half, and then the second half went, and they kept losing more yardage, and then boom, it's like tied at the
Yeah.
end of the game, and then they
Uh-huh.
lose.
Oh
and,
yeah,
Oh,
yeah. It was.
that was supposed to be the year.
Everybody was very
Yeah.
sad. It was the most somber
Totally.
game.
Even I was sad, and I don't watch football. I
Yeah.
was just like, you guys fucked it up again.
Yeah, again.
It's every single season, and this season too. They started off great, and they lost last night to the Titans, who have COVID. Every single every single player on that team has COVID,
Yeah,
and
they're
we
all
lost to them.
coughing and shit.
They're
And you
coughing.
can't complete a pass.
Yeah.
God damn it.
So ridiculous. I think it's cursed.
Yeah,
They should make a movie about it.
about the Buffalo. Is
Yeah.
there a real curse, like the curse of the Bambino?
Maybe. I just know they went to the Super Bowl 4 years in a row in the 90s.
Oh,
Didn't
yeah.
miss by a field goal one year, blah, blah, blah.
Oh.
And ever since then, it's just keep missing
Yeah.
by
So this is a
interesting ways.
downtrodden group of people.
Downtrodden group. I feel it myself. I feel like every time a good thing happens to me, it like gets
Yeah.
yanked out from under me. TV show I'm on gets canceled.
Yeah.
A little bit of momentum. Good. It's over. That's why everything I start, I'm like, we'll see.
Yeah.
New boyfriend. Ugh, he's a rapist, you know? What's the deal here? So definitely that kind of people where
Mhm.
they like hold on to very good things because
Yeah,
there's
you're
a lot
seem
of depression there.
Pretty positive.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a sunny side up situation,
It
but
re-
cautiously
sun-
optimistic.
Cautiously. And they know it's coming, but then they blindly are like, this is the year.
Yeah.
They're like puppies. They forget every year that this isn't the year, but they tell themselves it's the year because it's easier to do that than analyze what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The truth of the situation,
Yes.
which is we'll probably blow it again.
Yes. Which they did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so that's Buffalo.
Yeah.
So in high school, were you? I'm trying to. I can't tell. Usually, I can tell
Yeah.
if someone's cool or not.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure, Maddie.
I know. That's the vibes I give off, which I think goes to show I'm either super uncool or super cool now. One of the two. Plot twist, I was not cool in high school. Mostly because I lived in a town that was very wealth-based,
Mm-hmm.
and I was unwealthy, so that automatically put me in the uncool pile.
Yeah.
The cool kids in my high school were super rich girls, like Mean
Mhm.
Girls level, like Range Rovers, blah, blah, blah. And then poor stoner guys. And they hung out. Those
Really?
two groups of people collided.
That doesn't make sense.
And there was no room for me.
no.
Really? Like poor stoner kids who had they lived with their grandmas and
Oh, yikes.
they had like a half pipe in their front yard.
Oh, no.
They would hang out with the rich bitches.
Uh-huh.
And it was that two groups of people.
Mm-hmm.
But I was in like musical theater, and
Oh, I bet you
so
were.
that paints the picture for you.
Yeah, no, but there
Loud
were
in
some,
my own way.
some cool people in musical theater. I'm trying to think
Yeah.
of one.
The gay kids. There's like always the gay
Yeah.
kid who was like class president,
Oh.
and they're like, "Go, Craig!"
Shout out to Craig, friend
Yeah,
of the
good job,
pod.
Craig.
Craig's like, I'm not
Yeah.
gay.
And I'm like, no, you are gay. You were in Beauty and the Beast, dude. But yeah, I was in I had chorus band. I was like band,
Mhm.
cool for band,
Yeah.
cool for chorus.
Okay.
Musical theater clown, extraordinaire.
Musical theater clown.
I
You
was
were a
like the
clown?
class clown of musical theater.
Oh, I see. Were you written up as
Comedic
class
relief.
clown?
I was in the musical theater group. We had a thing called Sausage King and Queen,
Jesus
where
Christ.
was like the class clown of I
So
know.
Buffalo.
Literally. And I told people and the person who has it hands it down to the next person. And the girl who had it before me, she didn't like me because she was like, not even a sausage. I was like, why does she even have it? She's not funny. So I had to get people to convince her to give it to me. It was total drama. No one cares.
But you got that sausage, girl.
I got that, and it was like a little, what is the thing you carry that's like princesses carry it?
Or like a tiara? No.
It's
a wand?
Hand tiara. Kind of wand and then a crown.
Oh, I know what you're talking
That's
about. It's like a chaz.
Yeah. Shaft like thing.
Shaft. You got the sausage shaft.
The sausage shaft.
Beautiful.
So that was my sort of, oh, I'm funny type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now theater kids can get kind of crunk.
They get crunk without the unk. They get crazy, but it's on like Monster Energy drinks. They're very, very straight edge, very like, we have fun on soda. That's all we need. And they're like, oh my God, crazy co-ed night where you like stay at someone's house till 2 a.m. until you have to drive home. Lots of Monster Energy, lots of like Tim Hortons at midnight. Mighty Taco.
Were you guys all kissing?
No kissing. No kiss, at least not with me. I don't think there was any kissing. There was some secret kissing. But there wasn't any truth or dare. There wasn't any making out in front of each other.
Okay.
I feel like, was that only in movies? Like, what was going on there?
I don't know. Maybe American Pie kind of made that happen because the band, but that was Band Geeks.
It makes you think people are fucking more than they are. And then you get to a party and you're just like playing DDR and Guitar Hero and like getting high off root beer and making fun of people. I mean, me and a few of my theater friends would like make fun of people until they wouldn't talk to us anymore. So maybe that's why no one was kissing me.
So you were a bully. Okay, got it.
Yeah. Within musical theater, does it count as a bully? You know what I mean? I'm like, you're already the victim for being in musical theater.
I guess that's true.
Yeah.
So you were the king bully.
I
sausage queen of bully.
Literally. And I did have a couple people say, I got in a huge fight with one friend in high school who I was like, what's your problem? He was like, you have the problem. You're mean.
And look at her now.
And I think after that, I was like, okay, I should probably lay off on outwardly belittling people.
Well, it's like roasting. I guess now like
roasting, but
it's also joke making. Like it's like Don Rickles type.
Lots of joke making, but you know, it's not. It's only when it's too late when you realize people are more sensitive than you think. Yeah. You can't really apologize your way out of that.
There's only one way to find out if someone's too sensitive.
Yeah,
and that is by
burning the bridge.
Yeah. Light it up.
And I've done it many times. But now, as I grew, I kind of learn if people are okay with it. You just work around people.
I feel like most comics are.
Yeah, but then you get that occasional one where they're like, seriously? And you're like, I guess not.
Yeah, well, those guys are.
What is that?
They're either really successful or never going to be.
Never going to be. Or they're just like that one comic who everyone agrees they don't fuck with. And they just go up in their own way, and yeah.
Well, I can't wait to know who you're referencing. But I won't make you do it.
I'll list a couple of them, but later.
That's for another time.
But even before comedy, I would like lightly roast people. Yeah, you just sometimes you take it too far.
I did the same thing. Like on the soccer team, I was very roasty and very. And I lost a friend. Lost a childhood friend.
I know.
But it was also like I was also roasty, but then I was also so insecure.
Oh, so
that it would just, and then it would manifest into talking shit. And then you don't realize you're talking shit. Yeah. And then you're like, oh, no, I'm being a bad friend.
Oh, my God. And it feels good in a way. And then later you're like, they're going to find out. Now I feel bad. Yeah. And then you spiral.
Yes.
Been there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, that was fun.
That's my past.
We just agreed that we're both bad people. Good.
I also think in musical theater, I turned to being the clown because I never got any roles. So it was more like, well, I got to be the funny one because I am only cast as a chorus member and I feel sad about it inside. Yeah. And I think that happens.
Well, at least you had the guts to go out for it. I went out for drama one time. Yeah. I got a call back, but I didn't know what that was. Right. And so I didn't show up. Oh. And then I was just like, I do sports. I'm better at sports.
Oh my gosh.
And so I just never did.
Right.
I never did theater, even though that's what I really wanted to do.
Oh my gosh.
I know. It was so sad. And then it wasn't until I got to college that I started taking acting.
Well, now you know what a callback is, hopefully.
I know. Yeah,
I've
had one or two.
On all these commercials.
I know. So fuck you, Zoc Doc. Did you try for that one? Yes. Right?
Wait, I got the email that said we went with someone else.
Yeah.
After the initial, it's so hurtful when they're like, we're just trying to get your vibe. Don't even worry about it. And
I
then
know.
you put your vibe, and then the next day they're like, no vibes here.
Exactly. We don't like your vibe.
For some reason, that's more hurtful than, I don't know.
Yeah.
The whole, like, we're just seeing what your personality's like.
It's going to be some girl with nothing but Botox. She's going to look 14.
That, or someone who, because I know Tobin Miller did the guy version of it, so it's maybe someone with a more unique looking face, blonde. He's very blonde. That's someone who you're like, oh, I'll recognize him somewhere else.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going by.
Okay, sure. Yeah, no, we're just too pretty. You know what I mean?
That's what Andrew told me. Andrew said, you're probably way too hot for that ZocDoc role. And I said, yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely correct. I mean,
that's what I tell myself every time I get rejected by a guy. I'm like, well, I'm too intimidating. Obviously, he said, I can't handle her beauty.
In reality, he's like, you're mean.
You're mean, and I want to be with someone quieter and who wears makeup.
Yeah, I'm never going to be any of those things.
Literally never. Literally never.
Okay, so when did you go to college? Where'd you go to college?
SUNY Geneseo. I know, it's so unknown.
I mean,
you know the SUNY
what a fun
system?
name. Yeah,
I know it's a fun name. So SUNY and then Geneseo, between Buffalo and Rochester. It's in the middle of nowhere. It's like they tried to brand themselves as like the honors SUNY school. Mm-hmm. And when I went there, it had like a really low acceptance rate. So it was like, oh my God, it's such a good school. And then immediately after I graduated, like a bunch of kids died from alcohol, car crashes. There was like a murder, suicide. So weird. The acceptance rate is now 80% and my college degree is useless. But when I went there, they were like, people will know the name Geneseo. So you guys just being here, that's your ticket to a job. And then when I moved to New York and started interviewing for jobs, they were like, so tell me about Genesoa. No one knew what it was.
Yeah.
Biggest scam. But that's every college.
Yeah. Unless you go to like an Ivy League or
I know.
UCLA. You know what I mean?
I really wish that I just went to Buffalo, University of Buffalo, because Geneseo, it was so liberal arts.
Yeah.
And they're like, humanities are more worthwhile than anything. And I'm like, why didn't I just go to nursing school?
Yeah.
It would have gotten me so much more stability than.
Well, thank God you didn't.
Yeah.
We're in a pandemic, Maddie.
I am where I am.
For Cripe's sake.
I know, and I would have had to work and make a lot of money if I was a nurse.
I wouldn't have any debt right now.
I would have had to move into the suburbs with my husband, who was a doctor. So.
And I'd be called a hero all the time.
Yawn and wear pajamas to work. Ugh, this sounds awful.
Yeah, get a high five for smiling.
I know.
I'm just kidding. I know they work very hard.
No.
Yes.
Totally. Totally. Maybe cut that part out. Is any of this usable?
Yeah, I know. We're being mean again.
Oh, God, I know. A story of my life. Yeah, so I went to Geneseo. I don't know. It was fine.
Is that where you started drinking?
Yeah, well, I went to one party in senior year of high school with a guy who graduated early from my high school, so he was already at UB, and so he invited me to a party. I blacked the fuck out there. My first time blacking out. And for like hours, threw up in a cab. And I think a normal person would be like, oh, I never want to do that. I never want that to happen again. But I was like, he was like, you were so funny. Everyone was laughing. And I was like, yes.
Oh, no. He said the exact wrong thing.
Everyone I talked to were like, you were so funny last night. And I think that's what got me hooked on like getting to that place. More usual people would be like, I'm so embarrassed. Like, that was really scary. But I was like, yeah, I'm awesome.
Did they say what you did?
They said I got to the party, was normal, but then I started drinking. And then I was like just chilling with a bunch. It was like a apartment party and like a kind of like a condominium type of just college housing, and I was just like in a bedroom with a bunch of girls making them all laugh. I think I was like roasting all the guys there or something. And the girls also knew my friend because my other friend, so I had a girlfriend who wasn't there, but her older sisters were at the party. Everyone in Clarence knows each other. So all the girls were there, and it was this younger girl who they never talked to, but now I was like vibrant and like talking shit about everyone there. And I think it was it was a lot.
Yeah.
But
so you were just being chatty. You didn't do anything.
No.
You weren't like, here's my right titty.
No, definitely didn't. Just really chatty and really like, we should all hang out. I think I had some new numbers in my phone that were like, hey, it's Liz. And I'm like, don't know who you are.
Good for you, Liz.
Always the next day after a blackout. Like, we need to hang out. It's Ava. I'm like, I literally don't know. And I can't respond because you're not going to like the sober version of me.
Yeah.
Let's just leave this fantasy.
Night and day.
Night and day. So that was my first blacking out. And then when I got to college, it was like every weekend we were blacking out.
Because your nickname was
Blackout Maddie. By the end of freshman year, first semester.
You and I were the same.
Same. Yep.
Oh, I never had
Every
alcohol
weekend.
in high school, and then I just discovered
And in high
it.
school, I was like, that's not my thing. No. I'm a Monster Energy girl.
Yeah.
You know?
I just need root beer and
right. And they brainwash you. They're like, if your college knows you drank, you will not get accepted. Or the DARE program.
Yes.
And there's no moderation. It's just like, okay, I don't drink. And then you get to college and all you've seen is like Animal House or Old School. And you're like, I'm about to party it the fuck up.
Yeah.
You don't know you're supposed to get good grades and not go to the hospital. but you're like, no, I want to be a party animal.
Yeah.
I want to be that girl who's...
Did you go to the hospital?
Once, yeah.
Dish.
Not
What
to
happened?
See, what had happened is, and this was also the first semester of freshman year. This was really my peak in life. I went to a party, and I think the party was... No, I think it was a regular party. I was wearing, like, you know, when we were in college or we wore those skirts that were, like, tight, and they came up to, like, our midsection, and they were black. Like, a long mini skirt, for what reason?
Yeah.
With, like, a tucked-in and flats.
Yes. Oh, my God. Yes, the pencil skirt phenomenon.
What was that?
I mean, it made you seem like you had a waist and then a big old booty. It was, like, very Mad Men chic.
So weird. So I was wearing that, and I got blackout at a party at the Frisbee team's house. Don't even know these people.
I mean, I've fucked a Frisbee boy.
They're actually cute. They're cute in like a granola way.
Very granola.
Yeah.
Yeah. This one he was fine.
There was a couple hotties on the Frisbee team, but they only dated like 10s. Because when you go to liberal arts school, there's like one guy for every 20 girls. Yeah. And all the hot ones are either taken or gay. So I would black out and wake up next to Frankenstein. But I never had sex with that guy. But so what happened?
Andrew's very hot.
Yes. Well, besides him.
Nothing.
Anyway, he's dead.
So mad at me.
So I went to the Frisbee team, blacked out. Then I think we went to get pizza. And at some point in the pizzeria, I decided to get up and start running away. And I was running, and it was on Main Street. There was like a Main Street, and then our campus, really small town. So I was running from the Main Street, and there's down a hill. And then right next to a popular bar, there's just like a kind of gravel driveway, but it's kind of like a pit right next to it. So run, fall over the ledge into the pit, and then I'm lying in a gravel pit. And there's like blood everywhere. And then my friend Carl, who I think was chasing me because he was like, someone has to go get her. And then he got me, and then he had to like carry me back to the dorms, which were like over 0.5 miles away. So across, and it's winter in Geneseo, so it's like 2 degrees out. And so he's carrying me. The cops are like, what's going on here? Because I was like screaming for no reason. And Carl's like, I'm trying to get her back. She's bleeding everywhere. And I'm like, yeah, this is Carl. And then the cops look at my knee and they're like, all right, have a good night. They don't drive me back to the dorms. They just look at my bloodied fucking mess. And then they let Carl keep to me on. Long story short, I get back to the dorms. All the girls in the dorms who stayed home for the night, fucking losers,
dorks,
making cookies and shit, probably watching Hocus Pocus. They put me in like the one. You know how there's always one bathtub in the dorm hallway for like the accessible person who's never there.
Yeah.
You know? So they threw me in the bathtub and they're like, "Shh, you have to be quiet. The RA is gonna come." And then the RA comes. Then the RA calls the hospital because they have to. I think if you're hammered and you're injured, I think it's like they're like, what if she bleeds to death? Yeah. So they had to. Hugest plot twist of the evening. I was also on the newspaper, and the RA who called the hospital for me, I had written a profile about him that week. And as he's like asking me if I'm okay, I was like, "Did you like the article?" Oh my gosh, I totally forgot about that until now. So his name was Nick Duell, and when I interviewed him, I was like, so like quiet and like wearing a button up and little boots and stuff, little backpack, and then I couldn't look him in the eye for the rest of. I think he's a doctor now. Yeah, I think he's a doctor. Good or maybe a Nick. PA. But anyway, then I went to the hospital. Then I got stitches in my knee. Then I had crutches.
Oh, you needed stitches?
Yeah, just a few. It was awful. Wouldn't recommend. It was awful, but not.
I mean, I feel
I had
like
a lot of friends. They laughed through it with me.
yeah, that happens
Yeah.
to everyone. There's at least one person in every dorm
Yeah.
who is the example.
And lucky, and I guess I was in the stretcher. I was like, we did it on the way out. But lucky for me, a lot of people got transported, and there was more girls who had to get like their stomach pumped that semester. There was like a soccer house party where a girl passed out, and the house was on like probation for 2 semesters because of her.
Oh, wow.
So I wasn't even the worst.
Yeah,
so
you're fine.
I was just like, this is my knee,
yeah, you didn't get your stomach pumped.
which would be like, ugh, you gotta tell your parents.
Yeah, that's like getting your stomach pumped is like serious shit.
I am shocked I never had to.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
shocked as well.
Yeah.
I feel like I would have if my friends were smarter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They would have sent you.
Yeah, if they were not, if any of them were sober,
Yeah.
they would be like, "Oh, this is
Totally.
a huge problem."
There's days when I wake up and the poisoning in my stomach feels so strong, and you
Mhm.
throw up so much, and you're like, I should have gotten my stomach pumped last night, I
Mhm.
think.
Yeah, and you're shaking,
Oh,
and you're just like
Oh.
the light is
Oh.
just it's
they're
gonna
so
shoot you in
hangovers
the
are
eyeballs.
so bad.
It's awful.
Shaky.
Mhm.
You can the only place that's comfortable is sitting in the shower.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, I'm okay to get up, and you stand up, and then you're like, no, I still feel bad.
Yeah.
And then you sit back down. You can't even watch TV.
Yeah.
I was just talking to Jordan about this. Some people are like, oh, I'll just like snuggle and watch TV all day. I'm like, I can't even. I have to look at the wall.
Yeah.
And if you close your eyes, your brain is pounding,
Mhm.
and you're like, oh,
For some reason, the only thing I can listen to or watch while hungover are British people talking.
okay. I'll
So
have
like
to
the
do that
Great
next
British
time.
Bake Off.
Yeah.
It's very soothing.
Totally.
Because it's very
Yeah.
easy and you can fall asleep. You don't feel
Definitely.
bad. It's very nice.
You have to do easy. You can't do something where people are drinking.
Mm-hmm.
You can't watch like Don Draper drink whiskey.
No.
And you
Oh
can't.
my
You
God.
can't watch the Jersey Shore. It has to be like cartoons or something too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And as soon as you smell any kind of alcohol,
No.
you're just yeah. It's everywhere.
Ugh.
It's everywhere. I
Ugh.
threw up in my mask this.
Oh
like,
my God.
not too long ago.
That is absolutely horrendous.
Yeah, well, it kept it from getting in the Uber, so it saved us $250.
Oh
okay?
my gosh.
I am crafty.
Oh my
But
gosh.
for the next like 3 days, they were taking tequila shots, and I
No.
was like, if I
No.
even get a whiff of it,
Yeah.
I will puke on your shoes.
Even now, from all the shots I took in college, all the pre-gaming with like
Mhm.
Svedka and stuff, I can't really take shots unless it's like coated in sugar, like a Fireball shot or
Oh,
something
for
like that.
same.
But
I can only
yes,
do Fireball.
But otherwise, it's like if that I have to like work to make it stay down because
Mhm.
my body's like, we're doing this. No, we're not.
yeah,
And it's like complete rejection.
I'm a 30 plus 3 years old
Yeah.
woman.
Yeah.
And I'm a 30-year-old
Yeah.
woman. And to this, like, I have
Yeah.
no shame. I'm like, oh, we're doing shots. Okay, give me a chaser. I don't care. Cranberry juice,
nope.
whatever. And they're like, pussy. And I'm like, do you want me to throw up in your
Yes.
mouth? I will do it.
How people hold that down? Well, they haven't been drinking
No,
like us. I
no.
can't even. Oh, ugh. And the tequila with the lime and the salt. Even when I drink margaritas and I taste that tequila, oh, absolutely horrendous. Just the hint of tequila, we definitely did a lot of
Mm-hmm.
in college with the lime and the salt. So
Yeah.
yeah, I can't even.
Yeah.
Oh, horrendous. So yeah, that was me pretty much like every weekend in college.
I mean,
I feel like I have brain damage now. I honestly feel like the dementia's coming and
Yeah.
or something.
well, that was
I
the only
don't
time you went
know.
to the hospital.
That was the only time I went to the hospital.
Any
but
other injuries?
no
No more injuries.
no more injuries.
great.
I mean obviously bruises and random like why does my ass hurt so much? Oh, because I fell a lot.
Yeah. Mhm.
But no popped a blood vessel in my eye from throwing up a couple times.
Oh, that's
Which
tough.
is and you can't get rid of it, so you have to go to work and be like, "Hi, I don't know what happened. Must be must be allergies."
Oh, I think I hit myself
Oh,
in the
wait.
face with a red pen.
I know. Can someone get me an eraser?
I'm so bad at Sharpies.
You're just like, it looks like might as well put an eye patch on. 'Cause that's how, or sunglasses. But yeah, really every weekend, and it would be Thursday, Friday, Saturday,
Mhm.
sometimes Wednesday.
Yeah.
I started being the editor in chief of the newspaper junior year in college.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so stressful that it was weekly. So by the time it came out on Thursdays, I would black out Thursday, Friday, because you're still like, oh, thank God I don't have to do that anymore. Saturday and then Sunday a little bit because you're stressed about the week to come.
Would you go to bars or just drink at home or house parties or?
It was a mix because everything's so small in Geneseo. So you'd start with like a pregame and then you're pretty drunk by the time you get to the party, which would be at like the Frisbee or like Swim House, or like our house had a lot of parties because I lived in a house that would have like bands in the basement, like a house show.
Oh.
And I was like the indie house where all the indie kids came.
That's very fun.
Very fun.
That's hip. That's cool. That's college cool.
It was actually college cool. I'm
Yeah,
telling you, I was
for
cooler
sure.
than I've ever been since. And look at me pining for my
Yeah, my blackout days that
I know.
I don't remember half of.
Don't remember everything. And then so we go to parties, blackout there, and then the bars in Geneseo, there was like 7 within 10 square feet of each other.
Yeah.
So you'd start at the Vital where you do like some shots there. You'd go to the Idle Hour, do like $1 beer. And then the big bar in Geneseo was a barn. And it was called the In Between because it was in between campus and Main Street. So it was called the IB. So you go to the IB and it's like a dance barn where there's the loudest Rihanna's blaring.
Yeah.
Everyone's there. It's like a melting pot. All the sororities are there. The sororities have their own little bleachers that they dance on. Like there's like a sorority called the Clios and they had their little risers. And one time I was on there and they were like, you can't dance here. Like that's how.
Ew.
It's so weird. I can't even describe how
mean?
weird it is. And I was like, they warned me about this. And then I got off. But they have little, like across the whole thing, they have little risers. So you could like get up and like dance with your friends in front of everyone.
Oh.
And then they had like a back deck where you smoke. And it was so weird. It was like a dream-like state.
I mean, that sounds like the place to be for college.
Yeah, people peed on the floors. It's the place to be.
No.
A girl would be like, watch me. And you'd stand in front of her and she'd take a piss on the floor.
No.
Yeah. Not even
Oh
kidding.
my God.
It
You guys
was
are barbarians.
It's literally like medieval warfare in there. And it was crazy. You'd see someone from like your econ class and you'd be like, what the fuck? Just everyone's hammered.
Yeah.
Just blackout of their minds. And we snuck in there with like fake IDs. And then once you turn 19, I think is when you can start going to the IB legally.
But
Weird
you
system.
can't drink, right?
I guess not. Most people just go there
Supposedly.
hammered and dance. And I think there's a $5 cover or something. If you're underage, I think there's a cover. And then 21, and the drinks were really cheap, and they were in those plastic cups that were so tall, and so you just go there and get like 3 vodka sodas and just drink those the rest of the night.
Yeah. Now is Drunk Maddie good with boys? At this time,
ugly
at
guys,
this point.
ugly guys, because let's say that because every guy I woke up next to was a fucking Picasso painting. So I think really what happened was I'd be hammered and then a guy would approach me and then I would flirt with him because I can't see anything when you're hammered.
Yeah.
And you just know there's a figure there.
Yeah.
And so you'd be like, wow, can I borrow your shirt? I think I'd be very...
Can I borrow your shirt?
Like can I wear your jacket while we go outside? Okay. Like that kind of thing.
What a move.
Yeah.
Can you get naked right now?
Pants? So I think it was more of that. Like whoever wanted it could get it.
Hell yeah.
Easily.
Yeah, you had your options open. That's what we
definitely had options.
Yeah.
There was like one guy I was hooking up with junior year. He was a senior and we would only hook up drunk, and then we tried to hang out sober a couple of times, and I think he like hated my personality.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did not work out.
One guy I dated, he was sober and I was drinking a lot.
No, yeah.
And we would hang out and then I would drink. I would have to be like drunk to sleep with him.
That's how it felt with this guy. And it sucked because I really liked him, but we met while we were hammered and it wasn't ever gonna.
Yeah.
Yeah. So weird.
I mean, it's very strange.
Really strange.
Yeah. So what happened with the people and the drunk driving? Is that and all the deaths at your school?
In the drunk. Oh, yeah. Well, Geneseo, before I got there, I guess a kid had died there in 2008 from choking on his own throat.
Oh.
You know the old story they tell you.
Yeah, don't fall asleep on your back.
The orientation videos they send, they're like, Sarah was a nice young lady, but she got into some trouble.
Yeah.
And then she did.
Yeah.
So they talked about the guy who died, and they're like, you know, things have, and they say like things used to be crazy before. I guess before he died, the streets were like crazy and teeming with people, and but then after that, the cops knock on your door if there's any chaos. So the parties were very like enclosed. You had to know a friend to get into the sorority parties and stuff like that. But that just means you drank more.
Yeah.
Because there was more of a risk of the cops coming.
Yeah.
So I think after the cops started laying the law down, like a lot of people would die from alcohol because because of the
this is a
binge
podcast
drinking.
about alcohol, so you can
Right.
say the
Oh,
whole
so
your list for alcohol
I just feel
poisoning.
bad because the kid died, and then when okay, here's the other thing is I think the town was in conspiracies with the bars because the year after I graduated, 4 of the bars closed all at
Really?
once, and one of them burned down. I can't even.
Dun,
I
dun,
think the
dun.
town was in cahoots with the bars to say this has to end
Yeah.
because it got pretty crazy with the frat house stuff, and there was like a volleyball hazing incident with the girls team where a girl had to go to the hospital. She chipped her tooth, and there was a whole hazing thing, and there was another hazing thing, and then there was a lacrosse kid died in his frat house, and the frat party didn't report it until the next day. I
Whoa.
think they were like trying to hide. I think they cleaned up the house before they told the cops.
Yeah.
And then there was a guy who stole an ambulance when he was hammered.
Oh God.
And like a bunch, and then just randomly a girl got in a car crash the year after I graduated. She wasn't drunk, but like the streets were really busy. And then the final thing was a girl's ex-boyfriend killed her in her bed with her new boyfriend and then killed himself. So it was like a murder-suicide situation.
Jesus
So there's all
Christ.
sorts of creepy things at Geneseo.
Oh
yeah,
my God.
with really random
That's horrific.
deaths. Yeah. Really
Did he kill
random
the
stuff.
boyfriend too?
He killed the boyfriend in the bed, and then I think he called his dad and said, I did a bad thing, and then killed himself. Ooh.
Yikes.
So there's always...
Oh, don't go to Geneseo.
Honestly, don't.
Don't go there.
Go to UB. Go where the normal people drink in the city of Buffalo. It's normal. Geneseo is filled with freaks. And the fact that it like was like the #1 school when we were there means everyone was so focused on their grades they would just black out on the weekends, and it makes like a very sociopathic mentality.
Yes.
Of like, I can't get caught, but I also want to black out.
Yeah, so I'm not going to do anything that's
Yeah.
going to risk getting
Right.
caught, even though it would benefit my
Right.
safety.
Every man for himself kind of thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not good.
Really a dark place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I like that you know all the goss. That must be
Oh,
from
I'm in on
being
the
the
goss.
editor of the
I'm
paper.
in.
You know
Oh
all the
my
dish.
God. The awkward thing about being the editor was I had to report on the volleyball hazing thing, and I had an ex-suite mate who was on the volleyball team, and I had to like show up to the court hearing, and she was like, "Seriously, Maddie?" I was like, "I'm just doing my job." My unpaid newspaper job.
What did the hazing do?
I think they tied girls to a chair or something, and I think they forced shots in their mouth. Just usual bandana, eyes.
I see.
Nothing worse than stuff I've heard, but when they get caught, that's
Yeah. Because I mean, we had hazing. I was
Yeah.
hazed.
on the soccer team.
Yeah, I
What
was
kind of
hazed. once.
stuff?
I had to wear a diaper.
What?
I had to wear fake boobs,
Oh my gosh!
and they put they dress you up. They make you look crazy.
In public, a diaper,
They have like a big soccer party,
and it's just the girls.
and it's the girls, the men's team,
Ew.
and then whoever they know.
Absolutely horrendous.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And one girl had a diaper with a vibrator attached to it.
Oh my
As a
gosh!
dick.
Did she orgasm?
No, I don't think it was on. It was like
Oh.
just looked
Oh.
like a penis.
I thought that's torture if they put vibrators on.
Yeah,
it.
no, I
Maybe-
don't think they sexually assaulted her. I don't think that's.
I'm like,
what-
that's actually a good idea.
I want that diaper.
Oh my gosh, that would
Yeah.
be that's crazy.
Yeah, and then they gave us each little tasks. We had to drink a shit ton.
Yeah.
I had to do a bunch of push-ups to get shots.
I guess like the
That was my
soccer
first
team-
time ever drinking, actually.
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
And you
I
bought-
did sip beer through a straw.
Do
It was
they have
disgusting.
the thing for yours where they get you in that first night and then you can't drink for the first semester or something like that?
Yeah, and then for the rest of the season,
Yeah.
you're not supposed to
Right.
drink.
And that's
But
just
I
your
was a
first
red
year?
shirt, and so I was like, I'm not playing in the games.
What's
so.
a red shirt?
Red shirt is where you're on the team,
Yeah.
but they want you to they don't think you're ready to be
Yeah.
like a starter, and
Mhm.
so they want you to be practice with the team, train with the team,
Okay.
and then have your eligibility start your sophomore year.
Oh, okay.
So you would be a super senior. So you just stay
Oh.
an extra semester.
Interesting. See,
Yeah.
I was a red shirt all through high school. Up until the end of senior year.
Yeah.
All through varsity.
In soccer?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
That was so bad. I moved to a town where everyone was in those Olympic teams.
Oh,
the
yeah.
Olympic development teams, and it was just like money. My parents and I just
ODP.
watched them ODP. I watched them
Mhm.
like skyrocket in talent while I just like
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did ODP for a couple years, but it
Mhm.
was I ended up getting on a really good club team,
yeah.
and that is what got me into college. Because my
Totally.
grades weren't great. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I had a couple friends who got into schools they shouldn't have.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I
Mm.
mean, the average GPA at my undergrad was 4.2, and I had
Yeah.
a 3.7, 3.6. Yeah.
That's not even bad.
No.
But
I was.
yeah.
I.
Yeah.
As long as you meet the bare minimum,
Yeah.
they'll put you in.
Right,
And
right,
I
right.
did meet the bare
Right.
minimum, but no one has a
Totally.
C in algebra
Right.
at UC San Diego except for Caitlin Peluffo.
Well, and
Yeah.
you're and a red shirt. What a unique combo.
Yeah. Yeah. I tell everybody this. I was recruited to go to Columbia,
Yeah.
but they were like, okay, all of our athletes, the only requirement you have to meet is get a 1400 on your SAT.
Oh my
and
gosh.
I was like, no. Not
yeah,
even
that's
close.
low for them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's still high.
And I was
though.
like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's still high. At a
Totally.
1600?
I
What
think
the?
got
What
a
am I, Einstein?
1300.
Get out of here.
I know. 1400. I got a 1300.
Oh,
and
that's nice.
I took it 3 times, and I was like, "That's the best I'm gonna do."
Yeah, I think I only took it once, and I got a 1250,
Yeah.
something like that.
Sounds pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm not a test taker. I'm very
Oh,
bad
dude,
at it.
And
They're always tricking me.
They're tricking you. And then the timer's running out, and you're like, I have so many more left. Oh, what do I do?
see.
Oh my God, I'm
Yeah.
panicking. And you're like, I should have taken a class.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
bad.
Yeah, it was not good. I really put all my eggs in the soccer basket.
Yeah.
Which is fine. It worked out.
Yeah,
Now I
totally.
have a bunch of debt I will
Yes,
never pay off.
it totally worked out. Look
Yeah.
at where we are now.
Look at this.
Yeah.
You know, I'm living off the government.
Thriving.
Okay. So after Geneseo, where'd you go?
So when I graduated, I lived in Rochester for a year. I worked at a food bank up there because
Aw.
did like a project in food justice. You know, like giving people food and
You really mumble at the good parts.
remember when Obama was president and focusing on things like local food was important?
Yeah.
It feels stupid to say now because you're like, there's so many bigger issues. But back then, I was very interested in the
Of course, people
food
gotta eat.
access and stuff. People gotta eat,
Mhm.
and
Food
access
deserts,
to
whatever.
fruits and fruit deserts and USDA shit, blah blah blah. So
Mhm.
I worked at FoodLink for a year. I was actually an ideal job for me because I had this stupid degree, but I made it work for food justice stuff. So I just sold fruits and vegetables to lower income communities
Mhm.
for a year and helped them with their programs.
Now, were your friends with you, or were you living with the fam?
Nah, I lived in Rochester alone. I had a couple friends in Rochester, but I do think looking back, I was pretty depressed because it's your first year out, and you're like, here we go,
Yeah.
everything I worked toward, and then you're like, oh,
Yeah. My life has
This is
started,
it.
and this is all it is.
lunch breaks. You're like, oh wow, this
Right.
really is. And then the whole weekend thing, and I think from then, and I had never done comedy or anything like that, but I think from then I was like, I don't know if I'm meant for this
Mm-hmm.
40-hour week thing.
Yes.
This weekend
Yeah.
ending so early thing.
9 to 5.
Yeah.
It does not vibe with me.
It does not nine to vibe with me. either.
No.
Hey.
Oh boy.
Always
Give her a
looking.
sausage.
Always looking. But I lived there for a year. For sure, continued to black out.
Really?
Yeah.
Even when kind of on your lonesome?
Yeah. I did a bunch of Tinder stuff.
Ooh.
I was seeing a guy on Tinder for the first few months of living in Rochester. Got ghosted, not to brag. And I think him and I got brown out a few times.
Mhm.
I think back then I was more of like we'll do a couple drinks tonight. Very
Mhm.
moderate. It was a very moderate year for me. But there was a few standout blackouts. Not a ton though.
Yeah.
I don't think Uber was as thing.
Yeah.
And I wasn't.
that's
I was
tough.
very career oriented that year.
Mhm.
Believe it or not, and I was living really low income, and I think loans were coming in. I think that was the first year where I was like, "We're getting it together."
Yeah.
So I
There's-
didn't drink as much that year.
Everybody's got that year.
Everybody's
and
got
then
that
it just
year. Yeah, I know,
really
I know.
plummets.
I know. I do think, and because after that year I moved to Brooklyn
Mm-hmm.
and then picked it back up again, the
Mhm.
drinking. But I do think if in an alternate universe I stayed at Food Link and did that with my life, the whole public health thing, I would have been able to maintain the moderation.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's breweries and there would be after work things where you drink a couple and you go
Mhm.
home. But then once I moved to Brooklyn, game over.
Yeah.
More online dating,
Mhm.
then started comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then
we're done.
kaputs.
Yeah,
There you
kaputs.
go.
Yeah,
I hear you.
yeah.
So when was the decision to taper off of the drinking?
After college, you mean?
Yeah.
Or-
Like now I know you don't drink very often.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so after college, so we got to get into this. I was like 210 pounds.
You
Yeah,
were.
yes.
I
People forget
remember.
because I don't post photos of it. And I don't really talk about it. People, when they lose weight, they'll be like, they'll do jokes about it. They'll do
Mhm.
stand up about. I can't even get into that yet. It's
Yeah.
too traumatic for me.
Really? Were
And-
you always?
No,
Heavier?
I think when I went through puberty, I gained like the old Irish hips and tits. You know, you get the body that's when you
Yeah, hippie titty Maddie.
Well,
That's-
the TikTokers, when they go through, they got the hourglass and the butt. What is that? I didn't get that. I just got puffy everywhere. Just big hips and tits.
Well, I think
and
those are the only TikTokers we see.
Right.
The puffy ones aren't making TikToks.
they're not making TikToks.
No.
No, they're inside trying to figure out how Bermuda shorts can look okay. So yeah, I went from like a size 2 to 10 in a year. I had like the big size 10 American Eagle jeans.
Yeah.
So then in college I started not eating. That probably helped the blacking out. Oh, it's so
For sure.
there's so many issues. I should do a podcast where I go over every year of my life. But long story short, started college, blacked out, and then started developing some starve binge patterns of, I won't eat all day. And then I would eat like 5,000 calories at night.
Mm-hmm.
Also high. I would get high and be like, don't eat. And then 10 minutes later, I
Yeah.
would have eaten a pizza.
Yeah.
So there was like a cycle of
Yes.
binging, starving. And then between junior and senior year, or between sophomore and junior year, I lost like 60 pounds.
Oh,
from
wow.
a very controlled diet and running 5 times a week. And so I lost all this weight. But then when school started again, I started drinking again and
Yeah.
eating. And then being the editor of the Lamron, that's the newspaper, I gained like 80 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
So then I put all this weight on. So then so senior year, I was so depressed about it that I kept blacking out.
Mm-hmm.
And then, blah, blah, blah. Lived in Rochester, still fat and depressed. I think just depressed because I was fat. When you lose that much weight and you're a literal size 2 for 3 months, you're like, this is awesome. And then you start seeing it creep back.
Oh, there's nothing worse.
Yeah. And you're 22 and you're like, I don't know how to control it. You don't know how science works when it just
Oh, yeah.
literally just stop
for
eating.
Sure. I played soccer. I was
Yeah.
a size 4. I think I
Right.
was a size 4.
Right.
And then I stopped playing soccer.
Yeah.
Not only was I depressed about getting
Yeah.
cut from the soccer team, but then
Yes.
I was gaining weight.
Oh.
And I
And
was
you
like,
can't,
it's
can't
gone.
yeah.
But I was also doing double days for,
Yes.
for a year and a
Totally.
half.
Yeah.
And now it's like nothing.
Totally.
And I'm like, I'm a fat piece of shit.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, you're just a little above average.
I know. And I feel like when you're 22, it's so hard to objectively be like, okay, here's the facts. I gained a little weight. How can we? And maybe I was also unhealthily underweight. Let's look at those facts.
Yeah.
Let's try to eat more than brown rice for lunch.
Yeah.
And so it was this, but you can't, and no one talked about that stuff back then. I couldn't look at my friends and be like, hey, no one talked about their bodies.
No.
I never had a friend be like, oh, I'm putting a little weight on. I feel weird. Never. It was all very secret.
Yeah.
Kind of behind. You didn't talk about your diet back then.
No.
Or losing weight. Whereas now I feel like everyone's like, oh.
Yeah.
I'm
Are you doing keto?
Yeah,
What are
yeah.
you doing? How do you feel
Never.
about bananas? I heard they're
I
high in
think
fat.
They have carbs in them.
Yeah. No carbs. No carbs.
I cut them out. But back then, no way.
Yeah.
To say that to someone would be like unheard of.
Well, it's also like this thought of like you're young. I always saw it as you're young. You're supposed to be in the best shape of your life because this is the easiest time it's ever going to be.
Totally.
And then I held so much shame when I
Yes.
knew it could be better because it was better. I knew
So
what
much
that
shame.
looked like.
Yeah.
and then I just couldn't get there. And so it was just
so much shame.
And then the shame triggers the drinking.
You black out, you eat, and then you do it again, and then you spend 10 days eating, and then you're like, okay, tomorrow we're back at it. And then you eat like a piece of lettuce, and you're like, okay, this feels good.
Yeah.
And then it just, there's no like, right. And at the same time, oh my God, the number of, okay, so I told you I fucked a lot of ugly dudes, but in my time when I was super thin, a lot of hotter dudes hit on me. So I was like, oh shit, I finally made it. I was literally, I'll show you a picture. I was like this fucking big.
Yeah.
So I think once the weight started coming back on, I was like, everyone's gonna know. No one's gonna hit on me anymore. And then once you spiral into that, and then you think everything someone says, if someone says, you look great, you're like, what do you mean by that?
Yeah.
You
what
lose
part?
your mind. Yeah. What are you talking about?
What are you talking about? My face, my clothes? Do these jeans look good?
Lose in your mind. And to the point where you analyze what everyone said, and then you're 210 pounds. And no one ever said anything to my face about it, which makes me go even more insane, because you're like, who's talking about me behind my back?
Well, I remember you. We met, I think, your first year doing comedy.
Yeah. Laughing Buddha, shout out our sponsors.
Hell yeah, bringing people together.
Or pushing them apart.
Me, and Ian Laura.
Hey guys, the only people.
Who got something out
of
Laughing Buddha.
I know.
Yeah, I remember, and I don't remember thinking, oh, she's fat.
Yeah.
There must be something going on. It was just, oh, that's Maddy. She's really funny.
Yeah.
And I think that's just the way comics look at things. People, it's like you're funny first, and then the rest of it is after.
And there's also other people who are way bigger. So I kind of was just like a bigger gal. Yeah. It wasn't obese.
I hear you.
It was more just like, oh, that's a girl who hides her body with big sweaters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I used to dress before I did comedy. I was super feminine. I would dress up all the time. I was also a tomboy, but I was also dress up all the time. And then I had like a semi-traumatic thing with the guy. He was like, you should do my show, and then he ended up just wanting to date me.
Oh God.
Yeah. And then it really fucked me up, and so since then I've been very tomboy. Yes. And like just this summer I stopped drinking for a month, lost 15 pounds. I bought a dress. I was really feeling myself, you know. And I had the booby shirt.
Yes.
And I remember walking around in Central
Someone
Park.
said something?
And the amount of looks from men. I was like, oh my God, I look good. I had a haircut. My eyebrows were on point. I was like, oh my God, who wants to fuck?
It's so true, because I spent so many years wearing big T-shirts, and all of the gals are talking about getting hit on. I'm like, no one hits on me. Yeah, no shit, because you're dressed like a linebacker, bitch. Yeah. They just don't even think that you have something under there. So... Yeah.
Well, in my case, everybody thought I was lesbian. And so that became like the first 5 minutes of my routine. And then I was like, okay, now no one gives a shit. What are you talking about?
No one gives a shit.
Yeah.
I know.
But so you decided to stop drinking to lose weight? Is that the main?
I think I was really tired. I think I was drunk a lot. And I wasn't drinking before going on stage. It was more like the hang after, where why on a Sunday are you drinking 5 IPAs? Someone tell me. I think it was more just like, I can't do this anymore. Yeah. So I subconsciously just cut out alcohol. And then and for years I had been trying to lose weight. And then I just cut it out. And then it slid off without me noticing. And then I was able to be like, okay, let's eat healthy now. But it was I would try so hard. And then once, I just stopped. And then obviously picked it back up.
I mean, but we dabble.
But that initial, I think helped with just being like, I don't drink, and not paying attention to your weight. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh shit. Yeah. I'm like down 50 pounds, and it's just, I didn't do anything. Yeah. It's the easiest thing.
It's someone could do. I was so shocked. Like a month, lost 15 pounds, no drinking. Yeah. And then I started drinking again. See, my thing is like I'm a slippery sloper. You know, if I just have a sip, then I'll drink for 9 nights straight. Yeah. Me too. And I'm coming up on night 10. Woo!
Crushing it. Sorry if my birthday made you relapse.
Oh, no. I was already drinking.
That's good.
That was the middle of the week, honey. Yeah. But it's amazing. And now I've officially lost 20 pounds from when I started. And I was like, imagine if I still wasn't drinking. It would just be so much more. Because I'm eating healthy. I'm doing Soul Cycle.
But you also have to remember you're a person. And I think you should be more... What I like to do is when I when I am drinking or if I'm eating unhealthy, I'm like, I did it once, I can do it again.
Yeah.
So tomorrow, let's just get back on it, and it's easier than you think.
Yeah.
And the fact that you lost 20 pounds, it means that you could do more. Don't think of it as like, oh, I fucked it up, because that's the one you get into. I might as well just live like this forever.
Yeah.
And you ruin everything.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So it should be more like, yeah, I can do this.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it now, and that's okay.
Yeah.
That's what I try to do, because then you have more fun in the moment than being like, oh, nuts.
Oh, no.
Nuts. My thighs are getting bigger.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I lost so much memory and time just by being sad and being like, okay, let's just get through this weekend with my parents, and then on Monday it's back to vegetables.
Yeah.
Versus just being like, yeah, this is a kind of a fatter weekend for me, and then Monday we'll get back to it.
Yeah.
And it relaxes you, and I'm like, you retain more of your, because I feel like there's so much dark memories I don't even can't even remember, because I'm just so focused on like, okay, this week will be better, and it's less in the moment and more future planning, which sucks.
Yeah, I know, right?
Not fun.
During the pandemic, did you drink more?
Not really. I really think I have like a couple blackouts a year, clean out the system.
Yeah, it's like,
and,
when did you start blacking out on your birthday? Because that's been a tradition since you started.
I want to say Patty's that first. Well, I did have a couple house parties in Red Hook. A couple of those. I don't think I blacked out there though, because I was too scared I was going to get in trouble. But Patty's would have been in its third year for this past year.
Yeah.
So I think in 2018, blacked out at Patty's, and did it last year, and then this year your house. So a few years now. Yeah, it's fun. I think of it as cleaning out the system. I drink to the point where I'm good on drinking for a while.
Yeah, you feel you do the one big drink where you're like, I feel like shit, I never want to do that again.
I never want to do it again.
That's great.
And then I had 2 seasons of Wild and Out last year, like May and December, that I completely blacked out the last night.
Oh, really? With the Wild and Out people?
Yeah.
Oh, what happened?
I can't even like, I can't even describe, like, it's probably like after your Colbert set, you spend so long on this, you're stressed about it, and then finally it's over, you filmed it, you crushed it, you're like, awesome, let's drink. And you don't even go into it being like, I'm going to black out. You're just like mindless, and you're like, finally relax, and you're like, drink.
Yeah.
And then it's 7 a.m. and the driver's like, your airport driver is here.
Oh, no!
And you're like, oh my God, I got to pack everything. Both times I left stuff in the hotel room because I had to rush the fuck out of there. There's jackets, full items. I was like, I can't. Speaking of throwing up in an Uber, on the way to my airport in the last season of Wild and Out, I threw up in the Uber. And I actually opened the door to throw up.
Well,
and
that's very nice.
You know, the worst
you.
part about it was the Uber driver was a Wild and Out fan. This was the most hungover I've ever been in my life. I'm telling you, Caitlin, I had an Nalgene in the airport and I threw up in it because I didn't have the ability to, because it was so frequent that I, that if, I should have just not got on the plane. But anyway, so the driver was a Wild and Out fan. He's like, no way, you filmed Wild and Out? I got to get a photo with you. And I threw up, and then he took a photo, and I don't know. It was, he kept talking to me, and I was like literally blubbering with vomit. And I can't.
Well, if there was any puke in there, he probably wouldn't have charged you.
I think I tipped him like as much as I could, and he didn't charge. And I opened the door to throw up. I said, "Can you pull over?" And I threw up. And he said, "Oh, all right." And I did that twice. And but he, in between throwing up, he was like, I gotta tell you, I'm the biggest fan of that show. I'm gonna tell all my friends Maddy Smith was in my car.
Throwing up in the backseat.
Every day I'm like, please don't post that photo. Or please don't post that photo with some slander about me throwing up in your car. Yeah. Because that's a story that'll get out if I make it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it like a rap party?
Yeah.
WRAP. Not
could have been either. Could have been either.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. The first one was a rap party, and where was it? Because I blacked out. I don't know why I can't remember this. Obviously, December. Yeah. Oh. Okay. I can't remember.
She had a good time.
Oh my God, duh. Okay. So in May, the rap party was, we went to the strip club That's why. We went to a strip club in Atlanta, Magic City.
Claremont?
No, Magic City.
Really?
Yeah. And
what did you do at a strip club?
I threw a lot of dollar bills. And that was, again, people didn't realize how hammered I was.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I was sitting there. I was like on the ledge. 21 Savage was over there. And I was like, yeah, I was like touching the girls. I was like, this is awesome. And then all of a sudden I was in a car. And the guy I was with was like, if I didn't come get you, you would have been here until 7 a.m. And that's like, I don't think other people, and everyone else was so drunk. They didn't realize how drunk I was. I'm just thankful that I'm still alive.
Yeah.
To this day.
I mean, me too.
So we went to Magic City, and that was really fun. Luckily I wasn't hammered blackout the whole time, because I have memories of being there and like the girls and stuff, because you don't want to miss that, you know?
No, very exciting.
Very exciting. I like to brag about it. And then the last Wild and Out one, which was in December, was just at a bar, and I was there for 5 minutes and then I went onto a different dimension. I don't know. Because that whole season I was stressed that no one liked me anymore, because I was getting less episodes, because it was just a logistics thing. There was more cast members, and I'm the white girl, so why would they put me in? But I was like, oh, finally it's over. And then I just got hammered to the point where I'm like, why? There was producers there.
Yeah, but it worked out for you, I feel like.
Yeah.
You did great.
Yeah.
You're great.
I feel like for me, I did great. But I feel like for me, alcohol is like a release of
yes.
Like on my birthday, it's like, yes, another year. And then the Wild and Out thing is like, we did it.
Mm-hmm.
I do it to like disappear into oblivion.
Yeah.
And for what reason? And then the day after, you're just like more stressed because you hate yourself from the hangover.
Yeah. But sometimes you got to remember why you don't do it every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
So it's one of those. Your birthday's the reminder.
Totally. This past hangover, I was like, let's get through it. And this is why we don't do it every day. Mm-hmm. Because it hurts. I think this past one, I was like, we've done it before. And tomorrow's going to be good. You just need a night of sleep and a lot of food today.
Yeah.
And we did it.
Oh, yeah.
And today I feel fine. But it does feel very existential. Mm-hmm. You're like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think that all the time. Sometimes I'm like, you're in your 30s. What are you doing?
You don't deserve anything.
And then I'm like, well, I'll have a Negroni. It's a grown-up cocktail.
So
it's lighter fluid.
Negrown-up.
Negrona.
Oh.
You dork.
Pew, pew, pew. Got him. Still got it. Yeah, I definitely am glad. And then even when Andrew and I started dating, I got back into it more because you're dating someone.
You go out to dinner.
And you got to be drunk and be like, are you my boyfriend? Because I can't. I'm Irish. I can't have those conversations.
No.
Yeah. The first kiss.
I know.
It's absolutely horrendous.
Who has sober sex for the first time?
I don't know.
That's insane to me.
We went to a Halloween party and then after had sex. Not blackout, but like sober.
Yeah. Yeah, me and Steve, it was we met at a bar, got drunk, and then went home and had sex.
Yeah,
and then we had sex in the morning.
Yeah,
just to solidify.
Like
this is okay now.
But that first time.
Yeah, no. What, you're gonna see these titties for the first time
these
with
genitals?
clear goggles on?
No,
Absolutely not.
I think I kept a bra on the first few times for me. I was like, you can't see these.
No.
They're so white.
No, you'll lose an eye. Don't take a look. This is for your own safety,
They're
sir.
They're so white. Think like Kate Winslet in Titanic, but if they like fell to the ground. Luckily, I roped them in with my personality.
That's how you got to do it.
You have to when you're 7.
Mm-hmm.
And that's generous.
I was like, man, I need that kind of self-esteem.
I was going to say 5 or 6, but I didn't want anyone in the room to get freaked out, you know?
I know. I have a very accurate, I'm a 6.
Yeah.
When I'm morning skinny, I'm a 6.
Ooh, morning skinny.
And you say that to anybody else and they're like, Caitlin.
I know. Dude, I think I've tried to call myself like a 5 or 6 on stage and people are like, oh.
I know.
Especially in Brooklyn where they're like, self-esteem. Fuck you, I'll say what I want.
Yeah, this is what I feel inside.
Yeah.
This is the number I identify with.
And this is my career, so if you don't laugh, I'll kill myself.
So now you're making it worse. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you. Now I feel like a 4.
And they're like, you're lit.
Get off
stage. We need you out of this venue.
Okay, let's see how we do. I think we covered all of it.
Cool.
I feel like. Do you actually? I always like to ask this. Is there a story that we missed that we just didn't get to?
I don't think so. It's just blackout a lot. That hangover after the last Wild 'N Out thing was truly awful. I can't even. I thought I was gonna throw up my organs, but I guess one story of how lots of items in disarray in my dorm rooms after I'd blackout, and my roommates were like, "What happened?" Not really. Just that one time I got so blackout, and I agreed to go to a music festival the next day, and then I had to go to it, and it was in like upstate. It was like a weird backcountry music festival, and I had to go. And like the guy texted me and was like, "Hey, I'll pick you up in 10." And I was like, "Oh my god, I can't let him go alone." I had no recollection of saying we would go.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think the next day I was so tired, and I think I ruined this guy's life because I wasn't the drunk. That was my lesson on don't say yes to things.
Mm-hmm.
After.
Yeah.
People, if you have texts that say, "Are we still hanging out today?" Say, "Oh, I'm so tired, I can't."
Yeah.
Because they're going to not like the contrast between your drunk personality and your sober one.
Yeah.
That's my lesson from drinking.
Well, not even sober, just hungover.
That
like,
too.
That is just that's a completely different person from your sober person.
Yeah, driving the back country, meeting people you don't know, and you're like, oh, this
was
is
it like
not
a date?
It might have been, but I was on a different planet that day.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, that's my only lesson is keep them, compartmentalize them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And don't let people see you hungover.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
You got to hide that away.
My least I go from a 6 to a 2 when I'm hungover.
Yeah.
Just
I hear you.
Face, and I get like
Mm-hmm.
blotched veins and
Oh, yeah. My hair is just
what
everywhere.
is that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, I hear you.
Everything
Even my
like that.
eyebrows go nuts.
What is that?
I don't know.
Why is every part of the body?
It's
You're looking at
just
your
like
ears. You're like, wait, what is that?
The face is
You
just
look like a cartoon
disheveled.
character, and you're like, oh my god.
Yeah.
So that's my own. Stay inside the day or 2 days after blacking out.
Yeah.
And just don't agree to plans.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, where can people find you, Maddie?
Obviously, I'm on Instagram, so Maddy Smith, and that's all I have for now. Flat Bottom Girls podcast.
Beautiful.
Bang.
Thank you.
Thank you
so much for
So
doing
fun.
this magical podcast. I will stop recording.
Awesome.